for now. And then this had an idea to have like a little indentation come down where this, you'd walk up to the bar and get yourself some noodles. Oodles of noodles. Doesn't have to be that, but it's just an idea. I think it might look kind of cool. So I am going to cut this out using my handy dandy hot wire cutter. Are you ready? Boom. Okay, I'm going to carve in some of the street detail according to my map that I created. So, right there. I'm going to just freehand this because I'm a psychopath. And I'm just going to make a cut. Thank you for being here. I'm doing everything I can to provide quality content that is as goofy as possible. Boom. Probably right there. Right there. There you go. Right there. Boom. And then I need some splits in my curb. That around to the front of the curb. Notice these are just guide cuts for what I'm about to do next. I'm gonna burn it all. No. Cut right there. Again, I'm just eyeballing this the way I think it looks nice to me. If I was doing like linear sidewalks in a new neighborhood, I would measure like out 4 inches and 8 inches and 6 inches and do everything overlapping correctly like they would plan out. But I want this alleyway to look like it's been repaired and redone a couple of times. So I want some things to not look, some things to kind of, like every once in a while I'll put something that's got like a random dimension to it. Not super random, like, or a weird geometric angle, but just something that looks like they had to tear it out and fix it, you know, or redo it when somebody changed the orientation of something. We're going to do this amazing trick that someone long ago did, where they took a pen and they went click and they dragged it through all the lines they just made to create detail. And then one day, somebody came along and rounded over the edges. See all that tear out? Why I just ignored it? Because when you start sanding, it looks like cracked out pieces of concrete. A lot of those vertical wibbly wobblies will end up looking like trowel marks. As long as you don't have too many of them. Too many of them won't look good, but a few of them can look just right. And I'm going to drag downward on the vertical faces to add a little bit of vertical scratching to look like vertical trowel marks. Just a little bit. Don't need a lot. See where there's this little tear out here? I'm going to tear it out more. Ta-da! There is our sidewalk. Boom. There's our sidewalk, and then I'm going to lay little tiles in here. What I want to do, I am going to start my tiles up the sidewall here. a little ways. And then I'm actually going to go in and shave out the foam by hand. Carefully. A little bit of a sharper knife. That's okay. We'll just go very slowly and very carefully. And I want this to be random, like it's occurring, because when I lay the tiles down, they'll kind of be a little bit up and down and undulating, which will make it look like they've been, again, repaired, or there's been an earthquake, or people have broken them and they've had to be set back in again. I want that look in this piece. Back to the hot wire cutter. I'm gonna set this at a pretty shallow depth because it's my tile depth. Turn this sucker on. I'm just gonna shave off a layer. Okay, so you see this is all gonna sit in there, and we're gonna cut tiles out of that. As always, guys, as I always say, I don't claim to be necessarily inventing a lot of these techniques. I think some of them, I may be the first to use them in the action figure diorama world, but I know I'm probably just discovering techniques somebody else discovered long before I was even alive. But if there's anything you learn here that you take away and you use on your own personal pieces, or for a commission you make, or for you add to the idea, I would appreciate a shout out or a share, letting people know that you might have picked up the inspiration here or something like that, just so people know that they can come to my channel and they can learn stuff here and it's worth their time. I've said that repeatedly and I will continue to say it because I really am trying to make this worth everyone's time. And I want people to know that if they come here, it's worth taking the 3 hours to watch the stream, or the 2 hours, or whatever it happens to be. So I appreciate the shout outs. If you're on Instagram especially, I'm on Instagram a lot. If you post something on Instagram and you tag me in it, whether it's in your comments or you tag me in the photo, and it's appropriate, it's not like super violent or, you know, something not family friendly, you know, I will reshare it as long as it's appropriate or family friendly. I don't, you know, if you post a picture of somebody's guts ripped out or something in a diorama, while I will appreciate the artistry involved, I probably won't reshare that. But just because I like to keep everything family friendly, accessible to all audiences as much as I can. So that's the only caveat to that. But still tag me. I still want to see what you do, you know, but I may not share that one. I am kind of eyeballing these, but I'm not worried about it because I want them to look broken and messed up. So now we have this wonderful grid. I could just use it as is and glue it down, but I'm actually going to crack every single one of these out and glue them down because I'm insane. Let me see how this curves out. I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. Come on, glue. Come on, glue. Spread a pretty healthy amount of this in here. This is the best glue for gluing foam to foam, period. And I will stand behind that. And if you find a better one, I'll run away. But I'm confident that you won't. I'm going to spread this around here with my finger. And, oops, a little bit of excess stuff there. And just going to crack this. This is also a way to cover a column in tiles really easily. There's a little trick for you. So I'll lay these in place. See that, how that bumps up? I'm going to leave that like that. I'm just going to leave it be because I want to. This is where I'm going to start popping stuff and like moving it and creating little gaps in the seams and stuff. Like pull that out. Let's keep going with the glue here before it dries. So just do that. There we go. See how that's looking? So we'll do the whole thing in grays, and then I'll come back and I'll paint this separately so the bottom layer gets that gray treatment. And then maybe I won't do Maybe I won't lay grout in there. I don't know. We'll see how I feel as I do it. There we go. Look at that. Nice. Star Marvel says that's going to look awesome. Reminds me of the beat up entrance our Dunkin' Donuts had in the 80s. Wow. Cool. I don't know why I was... This is supposed to be like an older like noodle shop, and I want it to look like, you know, the people who run it do not care about like the way it looks. They care about the taste of the food, right? Telling a story with your piece or coming up with a reason for the way things look helps you add realism. And so as I was coming up with my ideas, I mean, you saw it live. I had been ruminating on some of these ideas already, like in my head, but as I sketched it out, I kind of made up the story of this little corner of the city. And I figure if this is a noodle shop that's been here for that long, they know what they're doing with their noodles, and they probably don't make a lot of money because they're in this little hole in the wall, but they love their craft. You know, they're not tile guys, they're not plumbers, they're not maintenance workers, but they're noodle guys, you know. They know what they're doing. So they're like, if they have to sacrifice the quality of the outdoor flooring to maintain the quality of the noodles, that's who these guys are. They're my kind of guys. So that is kind of my thinking here on the outside area of the noodle hut or the noodle shop. It's that as long as the noodles are good, people will keep showing up. There we go. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here. If you're watching in the future times, thank you for lasting this long. We'll see you soon.